My hands are shaking so bad right now, I can barely type this. I never thought I'd be on a throwaway account, spilling my guts like this, but I just landed. I'm Dale, retired after decades in the military, 50s. I thought I was coming home to my wife, Brenda, celebrating our 30 years together, ready for a peaceful future. NGL, the peace is gone. My whole life just got detonated. I thought this was going to be the best day of my life, seriously. After damn near 3 decades serving, seeing things no one should ever have to see, I was finally done. Finally on that flight home, the one where I could close my eyes and just be. No more deployments, no more combat zones, just home. To Brenda, my wife. The woman I'd been with for 30 years, since we were practically kids. We built a life, you know. Jenny and Kevin, our kids, grew up while I was mostly away, but Brenda held down the fort. We were a team, or so I thought. I landed, got off the plane, and headed straight for baggage claim. I scanned the crowd, grinning like an idiot, ready to see her, ready for the hug, the kiss, the welcome home, my hero crap, even if it was cheesy. But she wasn't there. No big deal, right? Traffic, maybe? I pulled out my phone, dialed her number, went straight to voicemail. Okay, kinda weird. I called again. Voicemail, my gut started to twist. This wasn't Brenda. She was always on time, always had her phone. Panic started to bubble, a cold, familiar dread that usually meant something was seriously wrong in a different kind of war zone. I was standing there, feeling like a goddamn idiot, a fully grown man on the verge of losing it, when this guy, Mark, came up to me. He was in his late 40s, calm eyes, looking a bit like an ex-military dude himself. Hey, you look like you could use a ride, buddy, he said, his voice level. Waiting on someone? NGL, I was hesitant. Stranger danger and all that, but I was desperate. My wife, she's not here. Phone's dead or something. Mark just nodded. Get in. I'm heading your way, Dale. He knew my name. That was the first red flag I barely registered, too caught up in my own head. As we drove, he started talking. Casual, but it felt deliberate. I run a place not far from here, he said. A camp for men. Guys who need to figure things out. Sometimes it's career stuff, sometimes personal crises, infidelity, that kind of thing. My blood went cold. Why was he telling me this? Was he reading my mind? He then hit me with another bombshell. Funny enough, we've been looking for a senior instructor, someone with your background, combat vet, local ties, good head on his shoulders. My company's been vetting you, Dale. Think you'd be a good fit. I just stared at him, my brain trying to process a job offer for a position I didn't even know existed, from a guy who seemed to know everything about me, while my wife was AWOL. Then he pulled over, not at my house, but just before it. He reached into the back seat and grabbed a plain manila folder. Here, he said, handing it to me. This should explain a few things. My hands were shaking so bad when I took it. It felt heavy, like it was filled with lead. I opened it. Photos, dates, names. My blood ran colder than anything I'd ever felt. Brenda, Principal Peterson, for 2 decades. 2 decades. My wife, the principal of our kids' elementary school. It was all there, laid out like a goddamn military dossier, a full report, every detail. Mark just watched me, his face impassive. There's a DVD in there too, he said quietly. It's comprehensive. I fumbled, my fingers clumsy, and pulled out the disc. I put it in the tiny portable player he handed me, and there it was, unmistakable. Brenda, Principal Peterson, in places, in our house, my vision blurred. I could feel a primal scream trying to tear its way out of my throat, but it was stuck. Just a cold, dead weight in my chest. NGL, I think I went numb right then, like a fuse blew in my brain. The kids, Jenny and Kevin, Mark said, cutting through the silence. They're biologically yours, Dale. We confirmed it with DNA. A tiny microscopic flicker of relief, but it was immediately swallowed by the tsunami of everything else. It didn't make anything better. It just meant she still betrayed me, still lived a lie, but at least she didn't. I couldn't even finish the thought. Their routine, Mark continued, his voice still maddeningly calm. They'd meet after school, weekly rendezvous at your house, when you were on deployment mostly, But even when you were home sometimes, when you were busy, my jaw clenched so tight I thought my teeth would shatter. My own house, the place I imagined coming home to, finding solace. It was a stage for her infidelity. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a goddamn invasion. "I'll divorce her," I said, the words barely a whisper, then louder, a growl. "I'm going to tear him apart." Mark just held my gaze. "Legally, Dale, we'll find a legal way." He nodded towards the folder. "All his details are in there too. Married, kids, everything." The pure rage was a physical thing, like fire ants crawling under my skin. But the logical investigator part of me, the part that keeps you alive in a firefight, it kicked in. Find the legal way, destroy them, but within the rules. He dropped me off at my house, my home. It looked the same. The porch light was on. The bushes needed trimming. But it wasn't home anymore. It was a crime scene. Every brick, every window screamed betrayal. My retirement, my peaceful golden years, my entire future, just gone, crushed into dust. All I had left was this folder, full of proof and a head full of rage. I'm locked in the den, door bolted, blinds drawn. The whole damn house feels like it's breathing betrayal. I've watched that DVD like 100 times already, paused it, rewound it, zooming in on Brenda's face, on Peterson's smug grin. My hands are still shaking, but it's a cold tremor now, not panic. It's like a switch flipped. Every cell in my body is screaming, but my brain is clear, logical, military trained. I'm looking for a flaw, any crack in Mark's report, anything that could make this not real. There isn't one. It's all there, meticulously documented, every sickening detail. I made a silent promise to myself right then. No explosions, not yet. I would gather my own irrefutable proof, not just Mark's, but mine, enough to bury them both without a shred of doubt. My own intel, my own operation. I called Mark. My voice, NGL, sounded flat, emotionless, like a machine. "I'll take the job," I told him, "and I'll need those PI services. Full package." He didn't sound surprised. "Understood, Dale. Our PIs are top tier. They'll start discreetly, cross-referencing everything, looking for patterns, digital footprints. They're good at legal, admissible evidence. Give them a week, maybe two, for the initial deep dive. They'll work parallel to whatever you find." I just grunted. A week felt like an eternity, but I knew the drill. Patience, recon. I started my own recon immediately. Brenda was out grocery shopping, probably plotting her next move. I found her work schedule pinned to the fridge, standard stuff. Then I went online, found the school district's public calendar. Peterson's schedule was a click away. I cross-referenced them, day by day. Every single time Brenda had an after-school meeting or late-night planning session, Peterson had a corresponding gap or an off-campus engagement. It was chillingly precise, confirming everything in Mark's report. They didn't even try to hide the opportunity for it. It was like they were daring someone to look. Next, I started my search of the house. Our house. The place I'd helped build, painted, fixed. Now it felt like a stranger's. I wasn't looking for a note on the pillow. I was looking for operational security failures. I started with her old briefcase, the one she used when she was a teacher, before she became a school administrator. It was tucked away in the back of her closet, under a pile of scarves. I ran my fingers along the lining, and there it was, a small, almost imperceptible seam, cleverly disguised. A hidden compartment. My breath hitched. Inside, nestled amongst some old pens and a forgotten lipstick, was a burner phone. Black, nondescript. My fingers trembled as I turned it on. No password. She wasn't even good at covering her tracks. The screen lit up, a flood of messages, calls, all between her and P-Man. Principal Peterson. My stomach churned. The texts were explicit. "Can't wait for Tuesday. Missed you last night. Thinking of you always." Our secret. My eyes scanned the dates, the times, specific addresses, hotel rooms, but mostly our address. Our damn address. It all matched Mark's report, every single detail. So the cold accuracy made my rage burn brighter, but also deeper. This wasn't a fling. This was a whole damn parallel life. That night after she went to bed, feigning sleep, I slipped out. Got a discreet GPS tracker I'd ordered online with Mark's guidance. Found the OBD2 port under the dash of her car and clicked it into place. Invisible. Untraceable. Then the cameras. Small, motion-activated, battery-powered. One in the living room subtly tucked into a bookshelf. Another facing the back door, hidden in a potted plant. Another facing the hallway to the master bedroom. NGL, it felt invasive as hell, but I had to see it with my own eyes. I needed the final undeniable proof. No more trusting, no more assumptions. The next day I opened a new bank account. Just my name. No joint ownership. Started transferring chunks of my retirement savings, setting up direct deposits, protecting my assets. I was already picturing the divorce proceedings, and I wasn't going to be caught flat-footed. Not again. I called the attorney Mark's company recommended Mr. Davies. Sounded sharp, no nonsense. Mr. Davies, I said, my voice still unnaturally calm. My name is Dale. I'm calling about a divorce. Infidelity. I laid it all out. The report, the burner phone, the cameras, the tracker. Everything. He listened patiently, then gave me the rundown. Dale, this is serious. You've got strong evidence. The key is how it's collected. Your own findings are helpful, but the PI's reports will be crucial for court. We need to catch them in the act, on record, unmistakably. This isn't just about financial settlements. This is about emotional distress, about potential damage to your reputation, to your children's understanding. He told me what to document, what to look for, how to maintain my composure. It was a crash course in legal warfare. Brenda came home from work late yesterday, humming, oblivious. Long week at school, she said, kicking off her shoes. Think I'll be working late again next Tuesday. Big project. She smiled, a fake smile I'd probably overlooked for years. But now it was a flashing red light. Tuesday, an after-school meeting, a late-night planning session. I checked the burner phone again later. Sure enough, a text from P.O. Man. Can't wait for Tuesday. My place? It was on. The first batch of photos from the PI landed in my secure inbox this morning. My heart felt like a lead weight in my chest as I clicked them open. Clear as day. Brenda laughing, walking out of school with Peterson. His arm was casually brushing hers. Then another shot. Them slipping into a secluded restaurant, the kind with dim lighting and discreet booths. No passionate kiss, no overtly sexual contact, but the intimacy in their body language. The way they leaned into each other, it screamed, couple. It was a gut punch, even though I expected it. This wasn't just a report anymore. It was real, tangible proof. Later that day, I was monitoring the GPS tracker on Brenda's car. She told me she was heading to the craft store across town. Bullshit. I watched the little dot on the map. It went directly to an unfamiliar address, nowhere near any craft store. A residential area I didn't recognize. My jaw clenched. This was it. The secret apartment Mark's PI had alluded to. I made a mental note of the address. The hidden camera footage from the living room also paid off. I was reviewing the last few days, looking for anything. And there she was, Brenda, casually chatting on her phone. Yeah, Elroy, I'll be there a little late. Dale's being, well, Dale. Elroy, not Peterson. Another alias or another man entirely? A new wave of nausea hit me. I'd seen the burner phone messages from PI Man, but Elroy felt like a fresh stab. Was she juggling multiple affairs? The sheer audacity. I started diligently recording every suspicious phone conversation, every whispered aside she thought I couldn't hear. Every piece of activity was getting logged. Then the PI delivered the full background report on Principal Peterson. My blood ran cold reading through it. His daily routine, his patterns, his financial assets. And then, the kicker, his unaware wife's name and contact information. Sarah. 2 kids, just like me, just like Brenda. The thought of confronting her churned my stomach, but the logical investigator part of me knew she was a key player in this, whether she knew it or not. I started looking for discrepancies in our shared life. Brenda had been wearing this delicate silver necklace for a few months, a small pendant with an intricate design. I remember asking her about it once. "Oh, just something I picked up at a boutique, honey," she'd said, dismissing it with a wave of her hand. A casual lie. The PI report had detailed Peterson's credit card statements, and there it was, a purchase from a high-end jewelry store, a specific date, a specific item matching the description of Brenda's necklace. The price tag confirmed it wasn't some casual boutique find. It was a gift from him, a symbol of their twisted love, worn openly in my home. Deep into her cluttered desk, buried under old tax documents and school memos, I found it. An old, faded greeting card. Not a birthday card, not an anniversary, just a plain thinking of you card. Inside, in messy, almost childish handwriting, was a short message. "My dearest Brenda, you light up my world. Always. P." P, not Principal Peterson. Just P. The sentiment, the secrecy, the placement. It screamed clandestine affair. It was like a relic from the early days, a tangible piece of their history that she hadn't been able to let go of. As I dug deeper into our finances, looking for my own financial safety net, I stumbled upon a separate account. Not joint, just Brenda's name. A few $1,000s slowly accumulated over the past few years. Not enough to raise immediate flags, but enough to be suspicious. Where did it come from? What was it for? My brain immediately went to escape fund. She was planning. She had contingency plans. The betrayal was so thorough, so calculated. The PI called me later that week, confirming Peterson has a small apartment he rents under a different name, about 20 minutes from the school. Discreet. We've seen them entering it regularly. So the GPS address I tracked Brenda to was his love nest. Everything was falling into place. The pieces of the puzzle were ugly, but they were fitting. Then came the audio recording. Chilling. It was from one of the hidden mics the PI had planted, subtly, near their usual meeting spot. Brenda's voice, clear as day. "Do you think we can finally be together, Elroy? When Dale's really out of the picture?" And Peterson's reply, "Soon, my love. Very soon. Once his retirement settles, he won't expect a thing." They were discussing my retirement, my future, my life. Like I was an inconvenience, a problem to be solved. My rage surged, cold and pure. Every photo, every text, every recording, every piece of financial data, I meticulously saved it all to an encrypted, off-site hard drive, backed it up multiple times. This was my war chest, my evidence. And then, a stroke of twisted luck. Jenny had plans for a weekend trip with her college friends. Kevin was off to a scout camp. Both of them would be gone for the upcoming weekend. The house would be empty. The stage was set. It was time for the confrontation. No more waiting. The kids were finally gone. Jenny with her college friends, Kevin at scout camp, both safely with their grandparents for the weekend after that. My plan was in motion. The house was mine for the weekend. No witnesses, no distractions. Just me, the ghost of my past, and the woman who nuked it all. First, I went through the house systematically, every room, every angle. My phone was snapping photos like a tourist. The way the couch cushions were arranged, the little trinkets on the mantelpiece, the state of the kitchen, documentation, pre-confrontation state. Everything had to be recorded. My lawyer said it could be vital, showing intent, showing emotional distress, showing the environment before I blew it all up. NGL, it felt like I was photographing a crime scene, which, in a way, I was. As I moved through, I started noticing things. Small, almost imperceptible tells. A coffee mug on Brenda's nightstand that wasn't hers, with a faint School District 12 logo. Peterson's district. He'd been drinking coffee in our bedroom. My bedroom. A forgotten tie clip under the guest room dresser. A brand I recognized from one of Peterson's public photos. He'd clearly spent the night. Multiple times. The audacity of it made my stomach clench. He'd left his scent in my den, a male scent, not mine, not the kids. It was a visceral punch. Then I checked my own things. My old military uniform, still in the dry cleaning bag in the closet, had something missing. My dog tags, my original set, the ones I'd worn through my first deployment. I kept them tucked inside the pocket, a memento. They weren't there. He'd taken them. A goddamn souvenir of his conquest. The rage was a cold, sharp blade twisting in my gut. What kind of sick, twisted game was this? I found her secret access point too. Not a hidden key under a fake rock. That would be too obvious. It was a specific, unmarked spare key on my keychain, the one I never used, the one I thought was just a duplicate for the front door, kept for emergencies. I realized she must have made a copy and then put this one on my ring, knowing I'd never noticed the subtle difference in the cut. It was a key to our home, given to her lover. My own security system had been compromised from the inside. I decided to set a decoy. On the kitchen counter, I placed an old photo of Brenda and me from our honeymoon, smiling, young, naive. I wanted to see if she'd move it, hide it, or even react. A small test of her conscience, if she had any left. I spent hours looking through old photo albums. My emotional state was probably numb by this point. My eyes felt dry, like sandpaper. I saw Brenda in those photos. Over the years, the light in her eyes changed. The genuine smile faded, replaced by something more practiced, more distant, especially in the last decade. It was like watching a slow-motion video of someone disappearing. My wife was gone long before I knew it. Using all the evidence, Mark's report, my own findings, the burner phone, the PI surveillance, the jewelry, the card, the bank account, I constructed a meticulous timeline. 20 years. 2 decades of lies, deceit, and betrayal. Every rendezvous, every lie, every stolen moment. It was an epic of infidelity. The formal dining room, never used. Perfect. I set up my recording equipment, discrete audio recorders, and the small camera hidden in the chandelier. It would capture everything. Every word, every flinch, every denial. This wasn't going to be a shouting match. This was going to be an interrogation. I rehearsed my questions, standing in front of the mirror. Keep it calm, keep it factual, stick to the evidence. Don't let emotion take over. Yet. I sent Brenda a text, simple, casual. Hey, when you get home, we need to talk, something important. Non-committal, just enough to let her know a conversation was coming, but not enough to tip her off to the full scale of my knowledge. While she was out, I quietly changed the locks on my office, the shed, and the master bedroom closet where I'd stored some of my most valuable personal effects. I didn't want anything else to go missing. And NGL, I didn't trust her to leave without taking things she shouldn't. Speaking of that, I'd packed a small dump box for her, a duffel bag with a few changes of clothes, toiletries, some cash, and her car keys, her personal effects. I figured she wouldn't be staying. And finally, my alibi. I called my old military buddy, Frank. Frank, I said, I'm about to have a very difficult conversation with Brenda. Don't expect me to be in a good state for a while. Just know what's happening. He didn't ask for details, just said, Roger that, Dale. Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. I knew I could count on him. The stage was set. The trap was sprung. All that was left was for her to walk into it. The last piece of the puzzle arrived this morning. A secure video file from the P. I clicked it open, bracing myself. It was Peterson's apartment, the one Brenda had gone to via Japes, and there they were. Brenda and Peterson, stepping out of the building, laughing, his arm around her waist, her head resting on his shoulder. Then a quick, intimate kiss right there on the sidewalk before she got into her car. Not a friendly peck, a lover's kiss, right outside his secret love nest. This wasn't just irrefutable, it was damning. It was the final nail in the coffin of our marriage. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Just a cold, hard resolve. I printed everything. Every photo from the PI, every damning text from the burner phone, the financial records of Brenda's secret account, the receipt for the necklace, the old love letter, the DNA confirmation for Jenny and Kevin. I laid it all out on the dining room table, a gruesome collage of betrayal, a mountain of proof. My attorney, Mr. Davies, was on the phone, listening as I walked him through the comprehensive dossier. My voice, NGL, was steady. Dale, he said, his voice impressed, this is an exceptionally strong case. We have irrefutable proof of fault, which will significantly impact asset division and alimony in your favor. This isn't just about he said, she said. You've got it all. He confirmed the divorce papers were drafted, ready for immediate filing the second I gave the word. I spent hours crafting a detailed written statement. It wasn't just for the court, it was for me, for my sanity. It outlined every discovery, every lie, every piece of evidence. My intentions were clear: divorce, protection of my assets, and full disclosure of their affair to relevant parties. I told Mr. Davies my plan: confront Brenda, then simultaneously alert Peterson's wife. He paused. Legally, Dale, you are within your rights to inform Peterson's wife. She is directly impacted by his actions. However, you need to be very careful with how you do it. No threats, no harassment, just facts. Present the evidence. Let her draw her own conclusions. He advised against doing it in person and suggested a discreet, carefully worded email with key, undeniable evidence attached. Not an attack, but an informational release. I drafted the email attaching the most damning photos and the video clip. It was brutal but clean. I also scheduled a meeting with the school board superintendent for early next week. This wasn't just about my marriage anymore. This was about a school principal, a public figure, having a decades-long affair with a subordinate, compromising their positions, and likely misusing school resources and time. They deserve to know. I went over the confrontation plan one last time. The exact moment, the location, the dining room where the cameras were rolling, the sequence of evidence presentation. I had to maintain control. No yelling, no begging, just facts. Hard, cold facts. Just in case Brenda decided to get theatrical or refused to leave, I'd made arrangements. Frank offered his spare room, no questions asked. I'd also secured multiple copies of all important legal documents: wills, property deeds, financial statements, in a safety deposit box off-site. I wasn't leaving anything to chance. Mentally, I was a battlefield. I knew Brenda would try to deny, to gaslight, to manipulate. She'd probably cry, play the victim. I knew all her tricks, or thought I did. But I had my armor, the evidence. I would stick to the script. No deviation. Life's most costly choices often unfold in the quiet moments before the storm. Stick around to the end to see how Dale navigates this turbulent journey and rebuilds his shattered world. A final check. Peterson's work schedule. Confirmed. He had a full day of meetings scheduled. He wouldn't be reachable by Brenda right away. That was crucial. I needed Brenda to deal with the fallout alone, at least initially. My timing had to be perfect. The stage was set. The players were in position. The curtain was about to rise. Brenda walked into the dining room, her smile fading as she saw me sitting at the head of the long table, a stack of papers meticulously arranged before me. The hidden cameras were rolling, silent witnesses. "Dale, what's going on? Is this about the kids?" she asked, trying to sound concerned, but I could see the flicker of unease in her eyes. "No, Brenda, this is about us." My voice was flat, devoid of emotion. I pushed the burner phone across the table. It slid to a stop right in front of her. Then a few select PI photos. Her and Peterson laughing, walking into the secluded restaurant, the intimate kiss outside his apartment. "Recognize these?" Her face immediately hardened. "What is this, Dale? Some kind of joke? Are you spying on me? This is ridiculous. Who is this man? You're being paranoid." The gaslighting started exactly as I expected. She tried to snatch the phone, but I was faster, pulling it back. "Don't even try, Brenda." I didn't react to her denial. I just kept going, methodically, systematically. I laid out the detailed PI report, pointing to the dates, the times, the addresses. I played a snippet of the audio recording of her discussing our future with Elroy. Then came the love letter from P, the receipt for the necklace, the details of her secret bank account, the GPS tracker data showing her route to Peterson's apartment. Each piece of evidence was a brick in the wall of truth I was building around her. She tried to interrupt, to yell, to cry, but I just kept going, my voice a calm, unwavering monotone, laying out the facts. Finally, I presented the full video of her and Peterson. The kiss, the intimate embrace, her face went from defiant to shocked to a sickening shade of white. Her shoulders slumped. The act was over. "Okay," she whispered, her voice cracking. Okay, Dale, you win. It's true. The admission, after 2 decades, after all the lies, was almost anticlimactic. Just a quiet surrender in the face of irrefutable proof. Good, I said, pushing the stack of divorce papers across the table. These are yours. They've already been drafted by my attorney. Her eyes widened as she scanned the top page. You can take your time to review them, but you need to pack a bag and leave, now. Leave? She choked out. Dale, where am I supposed to go? This is my home. This was our home, Brenda. You forfeited that right a long time ago. Your bag is already packed. The one I prepared for you in the guest room. Take it. Leave. If you're not out in the next hour, I will legally remove you. My lawyer is aware of the situation and prepared to act. I gestured to the duffel bag I'd left on the guest bed, visible from the hallway. She tried to negotiate, to plead. Dale, please. Think about Jenny and Kevin. We can talk about this. Don't ruin everything. You ruined everything, Brenda. 2 decades ago. The kids are safely with their grandparents. They'll be informed of the separation when the time is right and in a controlled manner. But you are leaving. My voice was an iron bar. There was no room for discussion. No room for compromise. On the hidden camera footage I later watched her, defeated, walk into the guest room, grab the duffel bag, and then walk out the front door, closing it softly behind her. The house, after 30 years, was finally empty of her presence. The second she was out of sight, I moved. Fast. The pre-drafted email containing the most damning evidence, the video, the photos, the burner phone text, was sent to Sarah, Peterson's unsuspecting wife. Subject line, information you need to know about your husband, Elroy Peterson. Then, a more anonymous tip with select evidence went to the school board's official complaints email. No names, just facts and evidence. Then I changed every lock, every alarm code, every Wi-Fi password. My house was secure. Next, I called Jenny, Owen, and Kevin. My voice was calm, measured. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that Brenda and I are separating. It's a mutual decision, though it's been a long time coming. We'll talk more when you're home, but I wanted you to hear it from me first. We both love you very much. I kept it high level, no gory details, just the facts. They sounded shocked, but confused, not devastated. I knew the real conversation would come later, but this was the first step. My phone rang, an unfamiliar number. I let it go to voicemail. A few seconds later, it rang again. And again. I knew who it was. Finally, I answered. Dale, this is Elroy Peterson. What the hell is going on? My wife just sent me a video. What have you done? His voice was frantic, desperate, his composure completely shattered. Mr. Peterson, I said, my voice as steady as a rock. All communications regarding this matter will go through my attorney, Mr. Davies. I suggest you contact your own. And I hung up. I stood in the silence of my home, the echoes of her lies and his panic still hanging in the air. A deep, shaky breath escaped me. The immediate, intense storm of confrontation had passed. But I knew this was only the beginning. Jenny and Kevin came home a few days later, confused and still reeling from the news of the separation. When I sat them down, I could see the shock morphing into anger, then into deep, gut-wrenching hurt as I started explaining. I didn't sugarcoat it, but I focused on the facts, on their well-being, on ensuring them that they were loved and that this was not their fault. I showed them the DNA results for good measure, just to put that ugly thought to rest. They were both still shaking their heads, asking, "Why, Dad? How could Mom do this?" I didn't have easy answers, just the truth. As expected, Brenda tried to contact them directly, blowing up their phones, sending them emotional texts. She was trying to paint me as the villain, claiming I'd kicked her out for no reason, that I was going crazy after retirement. Classic gaslighting. But I was ready. I sat Jenny and Kevin down again, showed them some of the concrete evidence, a few of the texts from the burner phone, carefully selected photos, enough to counter Brenda's deceptive narrative without completely shattering their world with the full extent of the filth. It was tough watching their faces fall, but they needed to see the truth. Then I got a call from an unknown number. Dale, this is Sarah Peterson. Her voice was raw, a mix of heartbreak and white-hot fury. "I got your email, thank you. Thank you for telling me the truth." She sobbed, then her voice hardened. I confronted Elroy. He denied everything at first, but the video, he couldn't deny the video. She thanked me again, saying she was immediately initiating her own legal proceedings. "I'm going to take him for everything," she vowed. "And I'm calling the school board first thing in the morning." NGL, a grim satisfaction settled over me. He deserved it. She deserved justice. The ripple effect started fast. News of Principal Peterson's affair spread like wildfire through the school and the wider community. Small towns, right? Everyone talks. Anonymous posts started popping up on local Facebook groups, hints and rumors flying around. My meeting with the school board superintendent was next. I walked in, carrying my comprehensive dossier of evidence, feeling like a soldier presenting an intel brief. He was a stern, no-nonsense guy. I laid it all out. The 2-decade affair, the misuse of school time, the potential for a hostile work environment for Brenda, the absolute breach of trust from a principal. He didn't interrupt, just listened, his face growing grimmer with each photo, each transcript. "Mr. Dale," he finally said, his voice grave, "this is appalling. We will be initiating an immediate internal investigation. This kind of conduct is unacceptable for anyone in a leadership position, especially with a subordinate." He assured me they would act swiftly, and they did. The very next day, an email went out to all parents and staff. Principal Peterson was placed on administrative leave, pending an investigation into serious allegations of professional misconduct. Sweet justice. My parents and siblings rallied around me. My mom was heartbroken for me, furious at Brenda. "How could she do this, Dale? To you, after everything you sacrificed?" My dad, a quiet man, just gave me a firm hug and said, "You did the right thing, son. You're strong. We're here for you." That support meant everything. I made it crystal clear to Brenda through our attorneys, all communication about the divorce, finances, and the kids would go through them. No direct contact, no emotional manipulation, just legal channels. My lawyer also helped me secure a temporary restraining order against Principal Peterson. I didn't want him anywhere near me, my kids, or my home, especially after that frantic phone call. The emotional toll was immense. NGL, I felt like I was unraveling some days. So I started seeing a family therapist, one recommended by Mark's camp. Not just for me, but for Jenny and Kevin. We needed professional help to navigate this minefield of betrayal and broken trust. It was going to be a long road, but we weren't going to walk it alone. And then the news officially broke. The local paper ran a front-page story, carefully worded to avoid libel, but clearly pointing fingers at a high-ranking school official and a long-term affair, resulting in administrative leave and imminent divorce proceedings. The shame was public now, for both of them. Sarah Peterson wasted no time. My attorney informed me she formally filed for divorce, citing infidelity, emotional distress, and professional misconduct. The lawsuit against Elroy was going to be brutal, leaving no stone unturned. She was going for blood, and NGL, I respected her for it. She deserved every penny, every ounce of justice. The school board's internal investigation, fueled by the overwhelming evidence I provided, concluded swiftly. The official notice came through. Principal Peterson was immediately terminated from his position. No severance, no golden parachute. His career, built on a foundation of lies and hypocrisy, was utterly destroyed. It was a victory, but a hollow one. Meanwhile, my divorce proceedings moved forward. My attorney, Mr. Davies, was a shark. With Brenda's decades-long infidelity clearly established as the cause, he pushed aggressively for a settlement heavily in my favor. Alimony would be minimal, if any, and the division of assets would reflect her egregious breach of our marital contract. She had no leg to stand on. Brenda was struggling hard. Her reputation, tainted by the scandal, made finding new employment nearly impossible. Who wants to hire a school administrator caught in a public, long-term affair with her boss? Her calls to me, often tearful, begging me to make it stop, went straight to my lawyer. My attorney also went after her hard to cover a substantial portion of my court costs and legal fees. She was paying for the damage she caused. I made sure she lost access to all joint bank accounts, credit cards, and shared assets. No more quiet withdrawals. No more secret stashes. Every financial thread connecting us was severed. It was painful but necessary. My biggest fight was for the kids. I filed for full custody of Jenny and Kevin. My argument was clear. Brenda's decades of deceit, her instability, and her demonstrable lack of moral character made her an unfit primary parent. I emphasized the need to shield them from the ongoing scandal and her potential negative influence. It was a tough battle, one I knew would hurt the kids, but I had to protect them. Principal Peterson, poor bastard, tried to salvage his professional career. I heard he was calling headhunters desperate, but his reputation was irrevocably destroyed. News travels fast in education circles. No school district, especially not one that valued integrity, would touch him with a 10-foot pole. His career was over, permanently, and I made sure the full, sordid details of the affair became widely known. Not just in the local gossip mill, but in Peterson's professional circles. A few discreet calls, a few anonymous emails to professional organizations. His name became synonymous with scandal. There was no escaping the shame. The complex process of liquidating certain joint marital assets began. We sold the vacation timeshare, some investment properties, things we had accumulated over our happy years. It felt like tearing down a monument to a lie. Each sale was a step closer to financial independence, but also a fresh reminder of what was lost. The official notice of Principal Peterson's termination from the school district arrived in the mail. A cold, formal letter, devoid of emotion, but the impact was immense. The school board also issued a public statement, carefully worded but clear, regarding unprofessional conduct, leading to disciplinary action. The message was unmistakable. Principal Peterson faced a complete downfall. He lost his career, his wife left him, he was likely to lose his home, and his family was shattered. His carefully constructed life imploded. Brenda wasn't far behind. My lawyer helped me establish a clear, protective co-parenting plan. Strict visitation schedules, no overnight guests when the kids were present, mandatory counseling for Brenda before she could have unsupervised visits. The goal was to shield Jenny and Kevin from Brenda's negative influence and the ongoing drama. And then, the hard part, the emotional and physical process of systematically removing all traces of Brenda from my home and my life. Her clothes in donation bags, her photos taken down, her side of the closet cleared. It was like an exorcism. Each item a memory, each removal a painful step towards healing. This wasn't just my house anymore. It was my home again. The gavel finally fell. My divorce from Brenda was final. After 30 years of what I thought was building a life, it was over. Just like that. NGL, it wasn't a triumphant feeling, more like a heavy, exhausted sigh. It was closure, though, a door slammed shut on a lifetime of lies. My lawyer just gave me a quiet nod. It was done. Right after that, Mark called. So Dale, he said, his voice calm, the offer still stands. Senior instructor, full-time, ready to help some good men who are going through hell. I didn't hesitate. I'm in, Mark. I could feel a knot in my chest, one I didn't even know was still there. Loosen a little. It wasn't just a job, it was a new purpose, a fresh start, a chance to use my experiences, even the most painful ones, to help someone else avoid the same trap, to find meaning in the wreckage. I knew the emotional work was just beginning. Legal closure didn't magically heal decades of betrayal. I focused wholeheartedly on Jenny and Kevin. They were my priority. Their well-being was paramount. We were still going to therapy, talking through the anger, the confusion, the hurt. It was slow going, but we were moving forward together. My home. It needed an exorcism. I started with renovations, not just painting over old colors, but stripping things down to the studs. Tearing out the old kitchen, redoing the master bath. It was cathartic. Every swing of the hammer, every tile laid was a reclamation. This wasn't just a house anymore. It was my house, a peaceful space filled with honesty and genuine love. Not hidden secrets. It was becoming truly mine again. Starting the new role at Mark's camp was good, really good. The camaraderie with the other instructors, ex-military, ex-Leo, a few therapists, it was like finding my unit again. A different kind of mission, but just as vital. Hearing the stories of the new campers, their broken trust, their pain, I could see myself in them. I found profound fulfillment, a sense of belonging I hadn't realized I'd lost for so long. Jenny and Kevin and I started building new routines. Movie nights, cooking together, long walks with the dog. Simple things, but real. Our home environment became safe, honest. No more walking on eggshells, no more wondering. We talked openly about our feelings about the future. It was messy sometimes, but it was honest. Part of my role at the camp involved sharing my story. NGL, the first few times were brutal. Reliving it all, putting it into words for a room full of strangers, men whose eyes mirrored my own past pain. But as I spoke, as I saw their nods, their understanding, it became less about the trauma and more about the triumph. I could offer empathy, wisdom, and practical guidance. You're not alone, I'd tell them, and you can get through this. Through all of it, I found a renewed pride in my military service. The discipline, the resilience, the ability to compartmentalize and execute under pressure. It all came back. Those skills, forged in combat, had somehow prepared me for this different kind of war. I reflected on the painful, devastating journey I'd been forced on, but I could also acknowledge the immense personal growth it had forced upon me. I was stronger, wiser, and more self-aware than I had ever been. Cautiously, I started exploring new interests. Took up woodworking, something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for. Reconnected with old friends, joined a local hiking group. Slowly, tentatively, I started opening myself up to life again, to new social connections, to the possibility of genuine happiness. Mentoring the men at the camp became a core part of who I was. Using my lived experience as a powerful guide, I could cut through their denial, help them see the red flags, and arm them with the tools to rebuild. It was about prevention, about healing, and about finding strength after devastation. My bond with Mark solidified into something truly special. He wasn't just my boss. He was a trusted mentor, a friend who had seen me at my lowest and helped me find my way back. We were partners in this new chapter, building something meaningful. I look forward to a future free from deception, a future built on honesty, integrity, and genuine connections. I wasn't rushing into anything, not into new relationships, not into new expectations. I was content with the quiet strength I had found, the peace I had earned. I knew there would still be hard days, moments of lingering pain, but I had a deep sense of resilience. I had found a clear path toward genuine happiness and fulfillment. This was my new life, NGL. The dust settled, but the damage, that shit's permanent. My 30-year marriage with Brenda, the one I thought was solid, it didn't just end. It was vaporized by 20 years of lies. I'm a different man now, stronger maybe, but also forever scarred, forever wary. Trust isn't something I give easily anymore. Not after this. Brenda, she lost everything. Her reputation is trashed, career in shambles, financially dependent. She's a ghost of her former self, and honestly, good riddance. Peterson? His life imploded too. Career, family, respect, gone. Poof. They earned every bit of that fallout. But the real cost? Jenny and Kevin. They'll carry this betrayal forever. Their mom, the woman they adored, turned out to be a master manipulator. That kind of wound doesn't just heal, it changes you. My home, once a sanctuary, is now a monument to what was lost, rebuilt with new purpose, but always with the memory of its desecration. The consequences of their choices are profound and ongoing, a constant reminder that some things once broken can never truly be put back together again.